Good evening, everyone. It is great to see everyone here. The time is now 6 o'clock, and the Tuesday, January 9, 2024, Kingsport City Schools Board of Education regular business meeting is now called to order. We're going to begin with some very special guests here with Dr. True, so I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. True.
Ms. Woods, thank you very much. We want to welcome everyone tonight, and we're going to start our meeting with a couple of very special guests, a couple of Lincoln Lions. Come on up, guys. This is Layla and River, and they are in the first grade, and sister, and they are in the first grade at Lincoln. And let's turn around this way so everybody can see you. So, River, we'll start with you. We were talking earlier. You've been practicing, right? And you're ready. Who was your teacher at Lincoln?
Miss Metcalf.
And who is your teacher, Layla?
Miss McIntyre.
So you guys went back to school today. Did you have a good holiday break? Good Christmas break? Was there anything exciting that you did while you were off on vacation?
I went to the movies.
You went to the movies. Very good. Layla, did you have a good...
Wonka.
Wonka. Was it good? I haven't seen it. Is it worth seeing?
Chocolate maker.
The chocolate maker. Okay, I'll have to check it out. What did you do over Christmas?
The water park.
Water park. That's a good thing to do on a break. Well, we are really excited that you're here with us, and we're going to ask everyone to stand up, if you would, please. And we're going to turn and face the flag right there. And whenever you're ready, we'll say the pledge. Okay.
I'm going to let... No.
Say it together. Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, great job, guys. Keep up the great work, okay? All right. Well, at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to accept the agenda, which includes the consent agenda. Once the agenda is accepted, the board mutually agrees not to discuss any item of business or take any action that has not been accepted for the agenda. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
And tonight, Ms. Byers is joining us remotely, so we will be voting by roll call. So, Ms. Altizer?
Aye.
Mr. Golden?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
And Mrs. Williams?
Aye. This is the time when members of the audience are invited to comment on agenda items. It is not the time to speak about personnel issues, as there are more appropriate ways in which these can be addressed. If you're not sure how to do this, please ask one of us after the meeting. In your remarks, you may not refer to students by name without permission from the parent or guardian. If you would like to speak on a topic not included on the agenda, you're asked to submit your request in writing to the superintendent of schools at least 3 business days prior to the scheduled date of the meeting. Now, if you would like to speak about an item included on tonight's agenda, please raise your hand. I request that you state your name and limit your remarks to a maximum of 3 minutes. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to recognitions. It is my pleasure to I'm going to ask Dr. Kelly Harrell, Dr. Stephanie Potter, Mr. Brett Heron, and Dr. Brian Tate to come up here to be recognized. I'm going to embarrass them just a smidge. That's okay. We don't mind. Yes, we want everybody to see you because for the 7th consecutive year, Kingsport City Schools has achieved the top composite score of 5 in the Tennessee Value Added Assessment System based on data released by the Tennessee Department of Education. For the 2022-2023 school year, Kingsport City Schools scored a level 5 in the areas of system-wide numeracy, system-wide science, system-wide social studies, and the overall system-wide composite score. In addition, the following individual schools also received a top composite score of 5. Representing Adams Elementary is Dr. Kelly Harrell. Representing Jefferson Elementary is Principal Dr. Stephanie Potter. Representing Johnson Elementary is Principal Mr. Brett Herron. And representing Dobyns-Bennett High School is Dr. Brian Tate. Congratulations to Superintendent Dr. Chris Hampton and to the entire KCS family of educators and support personnel for this outstanding accomplishment. Congratulations, congratulations. Oh, got his picture right quick. Okay, again, congratulations, and I know great work is continuing all across the district, not just in those schools, but all across the district, so thank you so much. And now at this time, Dr. Rhonda Stringham is going to be recognizing some district teachers of the year, principal, supervisor, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you, Ms. Woods. Make sure that's on so they can go. So every year, the state of Tennessee recognizes a teacher of the year, a principal of the year, a supervisor of the year, and a superintendent of the year. All of those recognitions begin in the home. They begin here in Kingsport or wherever those folks come from. So in the beginning, back in November, December, their peers at their school level nominate teachers to represent their school in this competition that goes on to the district level, and we have district level winners who then go on to the region, and then region levels winners go on to the state. And so tonight we're going to recognize, first of all, the school level winners from every school in Kingsport, Tennessee. So I need the following folks, when I call your name, to please come and stand up here next to Miss Altizer and just keep going, because there's a bunch of you. So we have Sarah Hall from Palmer. We have Cassie Phillips from Adams. We have Miranda Stevens from Jackson. We have Vicki Mead from Jefferson. We have Hannah Hughes from Johnson. We have Trish Taylor from Kennedy. We have Trevor Brooks from Lincoln. We have Shelby Davis from Roosevelt. Catherine Hinkey from Washington. Lena Bingham from John Sevier, Isaiah Spivey from John Sevier, Ashley Peer from Robinson, Eva Pearson from Robinson, Court Mills from Dobyns-Bennett, Aaron Gorley from Dobyns-Bennett, Stephanie Strickler from Dobyns-Bennett, Brian Kearns from Dobyns-Bennett, Cameron Phillips from Dobyns-Bennett, Eric Vogt from Dobyns-Bennett, Amanda Dunham from DBXL, and Camille Perkins from Cora Cox Academy. This is this year's, the January 2024, representatives from all the schools in Kingsport City Schools.
While they're taking care of that kind of business, it's really neat to look at some teachers who had my students, some teachers who I just know on a community level, and then some that went to school with my students, with my kids. So a lot of wonderful educators here.
Great. While Mary Beth is finishing up with pictures, I need the following individuals to join me because they're going to do some presentations. That would be Marie Taylor, Kathleen Donnellan, Regina Davenport, Michael Hubbard, and Dr. Kyle Loudermilk. So first of all, I'd like to take a moment and recognize last year's district representatives. For Teacher of the Year, we have Marie Taylor, Kathleen Donnellan, and Regina Davenport. Not last year's Principal of the Year, but year before's Principal of the Year, Kyle Loudermilk, is going to be presenting to this year's Principal of the Year, and Michael Hubbard is going to present to this year's Supervisor of the Year. So without further ado, would the following individuals come forward? First of all, representing the pre-K through grade 4, that would be Catherine Hinkie from Washington. Representing the grade 5 through 8, that would be Lena Bingham. And representing grades 9 through 12, Brian Kearns. Congratulations to y'all, and just hang on because I know Mary Beth's going to want pictures. Representing Kingsport City Schools at the next level for Principal of the Year, we have Dr. Kelly Harrell. And representing Kingsport City Schools Supervisor of the Year, Andy Arnold. Congratulations to you as you go on to represent us in the regional competition. Thank you so much.
If you would like to be dismissed at the time, please feel free. Yes. You've probably witnessed the most fun part of the meeting. As you exit, we're going to go ahead and continue on with our meeting. I'd like to ask Mr. David Fry to come on up. We'll be looking at the approval of an amendment to the agreement with Thompson and Litton for architectural services for the Dobyns-Bennett High School Dome re-roofing project.
Good evening. Kind of have a housekeeping item for your consideration tonight. You know, we've contracted with Thompson Litton Architects for the architectural work for the renovation of the dome. And we started this a couple of years ago, and this is the actual third amendment to the agreement. You know, we started out with a re-roofing project of the dome, and then we investigated further and found out we had some other issues, and then we ended up with a full-blown renovation of the dome and structural repairs and all that, which everybody's very familiar with. So our current agreement is based upon an estimated construction amount that was developed by the architects probably about a year ago. And in addition to the base architect fee, there were some fees for additional services, like an audio-visual consultant, a acoustical consultant, mock-up of the dome, a geotechnical work, surveying work. Those additional services are where the architect might go to a third party and contract with a third party to do some surveying work or to do some audio-visual work. And the architect would pay those fees, and then we would reimburse the architect. The scope that was developed when the estimate was made that the base fee is based on did not include all of the items that we ended up bidding. If you'll remember, there were 8 alternates on the project. Some of those alternates, like the parking lot at the rear, the renovation of the locker rooms, the work done on the outdoor plaza and the ramps. Some of those items were included in the original scope of the project and the original estimate that the architect had. But there were 4 alternates that were not included in that original scope, and those were alternates 1, 2, 3, and 4. So alternate 1 were the lower bowl bleachers. Those were never included in the original scope of the project. We weren't going to replace those bleachers, but it was decided once we contracted with Thompson Litton and we're further refining the scope, we decided, yes, let's put an alternate in to replace those bleachers. Let's also put alternate 2 in to possibly do a glass railing around the concourse as opposed to a railing that has the individual spokes in it. And there was alternate 2A and 2B. One was if we replaced the bleachers, and one was if we did not replace the bleachers. Alternate 3 was, what if we put some LED accent lights in the top of the dome? And alternate 4 was adding 4 movable basketball goals in the dome. None of those alternates were included in the base scope of the project. So the architect, justifiably so, has come back and said, hey, we need to be paid for developing the specifications for those items. That they were never included in our base fee, and we're asking you to amend our contract to include those items in our base fee. Now, we did not accept all of those items. The only item of all those 4 that we did accept was alternate 1, which was the bleachers. But they did the work to develop the specifications to include those in the bid documents that were developed and sent out to bid. There were, in the additional services, there was about $100,000 or $250,000 or so of additional services. Well, we've identified at this point that we're not going to spend some of those things, such as the audio-visual consultant. We're not going to spend any of that money. And then the acoustical, we might spend some of it, but we're not going to spend $66,000. We may spend half of it. So what they're proposing is not to increase the overall dollar amount of their contract, to keep their overall dollar amount the same, but to move some of the dollars that were allocated for additional services into the base fee, and which we're in agreement with that should be done. Now, we may not spend the remaining balance, the $168,780 in the additional services still remaining. We may or may not spend all of that money. I highly doubt that we'll spend all of that money. Now, we'll spend some of it, but I highly doubt that we'll spend all of it. So we're recommending that the board, and this is like I said, this is the third amendment to the agreement. So we're recommending that the board approve Amendment 3 by moving $92,220 from the dollar amounts allocated for additional services into the base architect fee. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if I can.
Are there any questions for Mr. Fry? Okay. All right, then the recommended action is to approve Amendment Number 3 to the Thompson and Litton Architectural Agreement for Design Services for the repair and renovation of the Dobyns-Bennett Dome. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Altizer?
Mrs. Byers?
Aye.
Mr. Dean?
Aye.
Dr. Fletcher?
Aye.
Mr. Golden?
Aye.
Mrs. Woods?
Aye. Hey, thank you very much,
Okay,
Mr. Fry.
thank you.
And so, believe it or not, this is a very short meeting. That was the only business item we really had. We'll talk a little bit about some upcoming events. So our work session for January is going to be on January 23rd at 6 o'clock, and we'll be having various reports that night, so I'm looking forward to that. And then on January 24th, unless that date has changed, we'll be having our budget presentation session, and I think that's to start at 8 a.m. Is that so? January 24th, those who can attend. It's always very informative. It's hard to believe we're starting the budget process again. So that'll be Wednesday, January 24th. Then some of us will be attending the TSBA Legislative and Legal Institute on February 12th and 13th. And then February 13th will be our regular business meeting at 6 p.m. We're hoping no traffic issues getting back from Nashville there. And then our work session will be February 27th for February. And then we'll have our March meeting. It'll be here before you know it, March 12th. So that's all I have. Does anyone else have anything for discussion? Okay, great meeting, and with that, we are adjourned. Roll Tribe. It has to be a record. It has to be a record since I've been here.
Let's try to break it.